So, have you ever wondered if there's a totally different way to think about health? Something that goes way beyond just chasing symptoms and tries to get at the very blueprint of life itself? Well, today we're going to explore a completely new map for health, and this one comes from the ancient wisdom of Daoist medicine.
Okay, so our story actually starts in a pretty surprising place. A classroom at Harvard Medical School. Picture this. A doctor is up there presenting a case of plantar fasciitis. That really stubborn, nagging foot pain that just refuses to go away. They've tried everything on the foot itself, but nothing's working. And then someone suggests a totally different approach. They say, hey, instead of focusing on the foot, what if we treat the patient's back and legs? And you know what? Something pretty remarkable happens. The foot pain, it just vanishes. So how on earth is that possible, right? This single puzzle gets us right to the heart of a completely different map of the human body.
So, this really shows you the two different ways of thinking. On one side, you've got the standard mechanical view. It's pretty straightforward. Hey, you've got foot pain? Let's treat the foot. Makes sense, right? But the results were limited. Then you have the holistic view, which is inspired by these Daoist principles. It looks at the entire system's flow. And the difference in the outcome? It's just stark. We're talking a 90% cure rate. That's not just a small improvement. It tells you we're looking at the problem in a fundamentally different, and maybe better, way.
So the key to this whole puzzle? It comes down to one single powerful concept: qi. Now, you've probably heard it translated as energy, but honestly, that doesn't really do it justice. A much better way to think about it is like this. Imagine your body as an invisible traffic grid. Qi is the flow of traffic on that grid. And what happened in that Harvard case? Well, it's like there was a massive traffic jam up in the back part of the city, and it was causing problems miles away, down in the foot district. The foot pain wasn't the problem itself. It was just the symptom, the signal that there was a blockage somewhere else in the system.
And believe me, this idea goes so much deeper. In Taoist philosophy, qi isn't just something that's in your body. Qi is everything. There's this ancient saying, Wan Wu Ji Qi, which basically means all things are qi. Think about that for a second. From the stars in the night sky to the very thoughts popping into your head right now, it's all seen as just different forms of this one single dynamic substance. It's literally the unifying principle of the entire universe.
And what's really fascinating is this idea of a fundamental life force. It's not just a Taoist thing, not at all. Cultures all over the world seem to have tapped into something similar. You go to India, they call it prana, the vital breath. You look at ancient Greece, they called it pneuma, the spirit of life. It's like this is some kind of universal human insight, this feeling that there's an invisible current that animates all of us.
All right, so let's zoom out from qi for just a second to a much bigger idea. If everything is made of this same stuff, then your body isn't just a machine made of flesh and bone, right? It's seen as a miniature universe, a microcosm that perfectly reflects the patterns of the macrocosm, the greater cosm. The rhythms of nature out there are mirrored by the rhythms inside your own body. There's a beautiful term for this concept, Tian Ren Hei Yi, and it means heaven and man as one.
Okay, so how does this little inner universe of yours actually work? Well, according to Taoist thought, it runs on something called the three treasures. And honestly, the easiest way to get your head around them is to think about a simple electrical circuit. So first up, you have Jing. That's your deep core reserves. Think of it like the battery you were born with. Next, you have Qi. That's the actual energy, the current that's flowing from that battery. And finally, you have Shen. This is your vitality, your consciousness. It's the light that gets produced by that current. It's simple, right? A strong battery and a steady current, you get a bright, vibrant light. So this whole idea of an inner universe, powered by these three treasures, it all builds up into an even more complete map of who we are. Taoist philosophy describes each of us as a complete life form, and it says we're made up of 4 distinct but totally interconnected layers. It's this amazing model that brings together the physical and the non-physical parts of being human. Okay, layer 1. This is the one we all know best, the body. It's our physical vessel, our bones, our organs. You can think of it as the hardware. But in this model, it's not just a collection of parts. It's the actual stage where the entire drama of your life plays out. Next up, layer 2 is the spirit. This is your consciousness, your thoughts, your emotions, the whole inner world. So if the body is the stage, then the spirit is the director of the play, the one who shapes the whole story of your life. This is where your mental and emotional well-being really lives. All right, the third layer is a concept called life energy, or Ming. And this one's really interesting. It's your innate, finite life force. It connects right back to Jing, that battery we were talking about. And the analogy here is just perfect. Think of a personal hourglass. When you're born, you get a certain amount of sand in it. You can't add more sand, but the way you live your life can definitely change how fast that sand flows through.
And that brings us to the fourth and deepest layer, spirituality, or Xing. This is described as your fundamental nature, your unique essence. Let's go back to our stage analogy one last time. If the body is the stage and the spirit is the director, then this is the script itself. It's the core purpose, the fundamental reason the play even exists in the first place.
So, what's the big takeaway from this whole map? Well, the most important thing is that it completely reframes what we think the goal of health even is. It shifts us away from thinking about health as this constant battle against individual diseases. Instead, health becomes about cultivating harmony among all four of these layers. It's all about maintaining balance in your own personal inner universe.
And all of this really leaves us with one final big question to think about. What if healing is less about fighting a battle against one specific symptom and more about, say, retuning our entire personal universe? What if it's less about attacking what's wrong and more about restoring the natural, harmonious flow that connects our body, our mind, and our spirit? Just think, what might change for you if that's how you approached your own well-being?